Hello everyone and welcome back. If it's your first time here, please take a moment to subscribe and give me a follow on Instagram. The Robot Overlords appreciate it. Today, I'm going to do something a little different, and I'm going to review a knife that I personally don't like. But just because I don't like it does not mean a bunch of you out there won't. So stay tuned as I review the CRKT S.P.E.W knife. This is the CRKT S.P.E.W knife, designed by Alan Folts. The name S.P.E.W is an acronym that stands for Small Pocket Everyday Wharncliffe. It is what I would consider a fairly small knife, even for someone like myself who has tiny doll hands. This knife is a fixed blade knife, which means it does not open or close. The blade is fixed into place. And once again, it is a full tang style knife, meaning that this knife will be stronger because the piece of steel that makes up the blade extends to the full length and width of the handle, as you can see. The blade length is 3.5 inches. When you include the rest of the knife, it has an overall length of 6.25 inches. Remember, always check your local laws regarding what you can and cannot carry just to be safe. I am not a lawyer and I do not play one on TV. The blade is made out of 5CR15 MOV stainless steel, which is where my main complaint against this knife comes in. The steel has good corrosion resistance, but it's fairly soft, and the upside to the steel being soft is that it makes it really easy to sharpen, but the downside is that you have to sharpen it frequently, as it does not hold an edge for very long. The steel is a pretty low-end steel, and it's kind of disappointing to see the knife companies using it these days, especially at this price point. At the time of recording this video, the knife is retailing at about $40, and I don't think that's a great price considering the choice of steel. I would recommend waiting for it to go on sale at around $20 to $25, which is how much my boyfriend paid for this one. And I would love to see CRKT update this knife with either a D2 steel or even a Sandvik steel. The blade shape is a new one for me. This is a unique shape called a Wharncliffe. The Wharncliffe shape has a curved spine and a straight edge, which most knives you'll see are the opposite, where the spine is straight and the blade edge is curved. The shape itself reminds me of a type of fish with a really sharp nose, like a needlefish. I don't know why I always associate knives with fish. When researching this blade shape online, I found information that talked about how the Norse used a fixed blade called a seax or a sax that had a straight edge and a straight tapered down toward a point. According to an 1878 edition of the British Manufacturing Industries magazine, the blade shape was named after Lord Wharncliffe, who first created it in 1832 at a knife factory of Rogers and Sons in Sheffield, England. There's a lot more to learn about the history of the blade shape itself, so feel free to look it up online. The Wharncliffe shape is ideal for precise cutting and piercing due to this acute tip. The straight blade edge is great for pull cuts as well. The blade grind on this knife is called a hollow grind, which means that it has a concave curve from the top of the blade down to the cutting edge of the blade, which makes it very thin behind the edge and therefore razor sharp, so do be careful. The handle material on this specific knife is a G10, which is lightweight and a durable composite made from woven sheets of fiberglass, soaked in resin and then compressed. It provides a great grip and it resists the elements. G10 is also easy to dye different colors. And since this is not my knife, I have to ask permission to make this pretty. It also does come with a woven lanyard here, but sadly this knife doesn't have a large enough hole to replace this lanyard with a 550 paracord. I'm not sure if any smaller cordage would work. Personally, I would have preferred to have made my own lanyard. This knife comes with an injection molded plastic sheath, which is where I have another complaint. The retention isn't great and the knife rattles around in the sheath, which is not really good. The knife does come with this length of paracord here. Whoop. However, I personally wouldn't carry this knife upside down as a neck knife, as I don't trust the sheath to keep the knife from falling out. The knife also comes with this belt attachment hardware that allows you to slide your belt through, but it does not clip onto your clothing, which, as we all know, girl pants being stupid, this doesn't help us because sometimes we don't have belt loops. Yay! This limits what outfits that I really can carry this knife with, unless I buy something like an ulti-clip to replace that included hardware. Overall, this knife is very pointy. So it's really great for opening mail, breaking down cardboard boxes, and doing things that would require a craft knife like an X-Acto blade. It fits my hand pretty well, and I don't even have to use the nubby cord piece, but larger hands like my boyfriend's might find themselves having to use that lanyard for grip. So far, I've been really good about reviewing knives that I really like the aesthetic look of and the overall features that come with them. This one, however, I just couldn't get into. I find the blade shape unattractive, and I'm really not a fan of this G10 brown coloring of the handle. That being said, this is just my personal opinion, and if you love the look of this knife, then I am super happy for you. Go pick one up and try one for yourself. I'm going to modify this knife now and see if I like how it looks after. I'll include some video of what it looks like once I've customized it. As always, I try to end with something inspirational, something nice, because everything is basically on fire, but it's fine. So my inspiration for you all today is with the warm weather that we have, at least where I am. If you find that your yard has dandelions, be sure to leave them because the bees need them, and we need the bees and other pollinators or we will die. So be sure to like and subscribe because it helps the robot overlords know that you like me. I also have an Instagram with photos of my setups at Petite EDC. But thank you everyone for taking the time to make it to the end. My self-esteem thanks you. The knife comes with an injection molded plastic. Okay, so here's the result of my art project for the day. I decided to dye the G10 handles a darker color because I didn't personally like the brown. It actually came out pretty cool and it didn't take long to do at all, which is nice. It has this cool dark blue style to it now, and the grooves that you see that are milled into the handle scales for grip are now creating this kind of cool dimension to the handles that I didn't really notice before. And you know what? I kind of like this now. I feel like the color kind of fits with the blade a little better. I'll definitely take some more pictures of this close up for my Instagram, so definitely follow me on there to take a look. I plan on doing a video in the future to show everybody how to dye them by taking the knife apart, cleaning it properly, rubbing it down with alcohol so that you don't have the oil from your fingers on it, and then dyeing it. So keep an eye out for that. I believe the next one I'll do on that one is the ghoul, so be sure to follow my page and subscribe so you can check out how to do it too.